Hi. Welcome.
Sophia's just come in.
Great. Great. Wow, this looks quite bright. That's too dark. I have a halo. Some people would say.
Don't get any ideas.
Some people would say. Yeah, right.
Don't get any reflections.
So, welcome. We are on page Samach Aleph, in the middle of Midrash Bereishit Rabbah, chapter 4, number 6. Hi, Basia. And we are still dealing with this question of why doesn't it say on the third day of creation, Kitov? Second day of creation, Kitov. And the best answer that I think we've had so far is that on the third day it says Kitov twice. So, and that the water wasn't finished on the second day, and it was only when God finished dealing with the water, come in, that God finally said about the water was tov, because it wasn't done. It wasn't done yet. Sorry. You know what that door is? Just the noisy thing. It's it's just one of those things. So yeah. So we pick up with Rabbi Levi, yeah, which is the top line there.
We don't have the translation for any of this.
Yes. You should be able to find it now.
So Samach Aleph and then...
Samach Aleph, top line. Rabbi Levi B'Shem Rabbi Tanchum Bar Chanilai. Go for it, Jason.
Rabbi Levi B'Shem Rabbi Tanchum Bar Chanilai Amar Ketiv in Yeshaya Magid Mereishit Acharit Mitchilat Briato Shel Olam Tzafa HaKadosh Baruch Hu
Moshe. Okay. Just do two more words.
Karui Tov.
That'll do.
Okay. So Rabbi Levi, in the name of Rabbi Tanchum Bar Chanilai, says it's written in Yeshaya Magid Mereshit Achrit. Tell of, or is it command Magid?
Well, so Magid is right. Yes. Perfect. It's told. Bereishit. From the beginning. Acharit. What will happen at the end?
At the end. From the beginning. What will happen at the end? Right. Okay.
Hi. So this is we've seen quite a lot of this. This is the midrashic thing of saying that what happens in the creation of the world prefigures later stuff that's going on, or that the beginning of the creation knows the later workings out of the world, or the way that the creation was formed was holding how it's going to end up. So it's this sort of collapsing of all time. So if in science one sort of atomizes, one separates out and says this is different from this is different from this is different from this, there is a kind of a religious idea that everything becomes the same thing, just understood differently, and you're continually seeing the same idea. So Magid Mereshit Acharit, this is a very, very commonly cited verse to prove this idea. So Mitchilat Briato Shel Olam.
In the beginning of the creation of the world.
Whose creation of the world?
The gods.
Right. As in Har Tzofim.
Right. Tzafa HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe.
So what did he do? God, he
looked.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Right. And Moshe, as I'm sure you know well, is Karui Tov. Moshe is called
Good.
Tov. Right? How do I know that Moshe is Karui Tov? Have to say,
when his mother went to hide him in the ark in a little...
Yeah, it's you know what, being a Balkari is perfect, right? Because I had to look this one up, right? So v'tachar ha'isha v'teiled ben. So the woman became pregnant and gave birth to a son. V'tireoto ki tov who? And she looked at him and saw that he was good. Interestingly, he's not called Moshe at this point. Where does he get the name? When does he get the name Moshe? When he's pulled out. In other words, like his birth name is Tov, right? I mean, it's like that. It's not an adjective, or maybe it's both. I mean, the Moses is Tov now. So we're halfway there. We still don't know quite what this has got to do with Yom HaSheni and not using Kitov on Yom HaSheni, but let's see what's going on.
Ve'atid litol et shelo mitachat yidehem.
Pause there.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to need help with pronouns.
I'm going to need help with a lot of this. I wasn't here last week, so I...
Don't worry, there's no connection. There's I have to say, context you're not missing. There is no context here.
Okay, so...
Va'atid.
Long ago?
No. Atid.
Oh, in the future. Sorry,
in the future, in Moses' future, and the root of this word is nun tet lamed al natila, right? As when you take up, but atid litol et shelo. Something, right? Mitachat yadehem. Something was taken from him. His was taken. Mitachat yadehem.
From his hands.
No, sorry. Sorry, no. Sorry, from them. Was taken by them, right?
32. It's the same edition.
So, in the future, Moses' square brackets, because it's not talked about. Moses' rewards, or the culmination of his life, was taken from him, mitachat yadehem, by them. What's the them?
The waters.
The waters. Good. By the way, beautiful use of an S. Right? Mayim, yadehem. Mayim is plural. It was taken from him by the waters. What does that mean? That Moses lost what was his ultimate culmination by means of the water? What's that a reference to?
Because he struck the rock.
Because he struck the rock. In other words, the water is the thing that got Moses, that destroyed...
Saved him and destroyed him.
Saved him also. Right, good. But ultimately...
He was found in the water as well.
Yeah. Well, if we ever get to Shemot Rabbah, we'll get to all of this, right?
That's a perfect example of Bereishit. Foreshadowing the end.
Right. Well, I mean, all of this. I mean, the thing that's on my mind is Tefillat's Geshem, right? So where you get these wonderful bursts of very, very tight water-linked imagery all the way down the here. But forget all the other stuff about Moses. That what's relevant for this midrash is that Moses got punished, or Moses didn't get what was coming to him with the ability to lead the children of Israel into the land of Egypt because of the water. And that therefore, lefichach,
lokativ
bamayim, right? It doesn't talk about the mayim. Kitov. Very, very nice, right? Why doesn't God say, go water? Because Moses, who was good, right? Because the good guy lost out because of the water. So because of that, God doesn't call the water Tov at the beginning of time. I think it's a nice idea. It's not a great midrash.
A bit on the oblique side.
Well, and again, you've
It's better than some of the ones they come up with.
I have to say, if you don't like the next one, I rest my I abort this shear, right? If you don't like the next one, you abort the shear. But it's again, think of the technical term is the Sitzenleben, the seat in life. How is this happening? You've got a bunch of people sitting around riffing problems of day two, right? And somebody says, the issue with day two, the problem with day two is that the water wasn't finished. Somebody goes, water. Well, what's the problem? Maybe the water's not good. Here, Shemot 2:2, Moses good, not Moses water. Bing, and they're off. They're not going to give you here that he was rescued from the water and that the sea was the thing, and
because that's not the point they're trying to prove.
Because precisely the inverse point. But right. So, but it's just about playing with it. So now what we've established, by the way, is water's dangerous nature, right? So we've moved slightly on from there being, no good reason why there was Tov to. you just balances up with the the water was continued through. Now we've got there's actually a problem. I mean, machloket. Sorry, that was the first one. We did that whatever it was last week. That the real problem with day 2 is that there is a division, and we don't like division very much. So we've been playing with this, but now we're into the world of the dangers of water, and I think you have to just understand water differently, right? You have to think of water as an ancient. It's not controlled in the same way that we control water today, and in its natural full-on state, it's pretty dangerous. So that's that. We're now entering into thinking about water in
But
in
the
that
ancients also knew that the water was the source of life.
right?
And yet they're choosing to ignore that because they're trying to make a different point.
Because they have to explain. You have to come out of this with the reason why Yom Sheni is not called Tov. I mean, that's the issue. And I think we've already seen this idea of drinking water being the thing that you drink from being slightly, is a different thing from the seawaters and everything else, right? Did I say floodwaters? Okay. Good.
Yeah, but it is because it's so destructive that it is potentially,
Right.
as Lester says, so life-giving, but it's also, tsunami-ish,
So
Mabul-ish.
yeah. We'll get
can
that.
kill you.
Right. Well, let's do that. Keep going, Jason. That's right.
Rabbi Simon b'shem Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi amar mashal l'melech shehaya lo ligyon kashe amar hamelech hoil v'ligyon ze kashe al yekatev shemi alav.
Pause.
Okay. Rabbi Simon, in the name of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, gave a mashal.
Good.
Lamelech, a
Good.
parable. Shehaya lo, that
Okay.
he
Just
had.
this is a word in English or a word in Latin. Right. He had a legion.
Aha. Okay, good to know. Sorry, I write this down.
As in God of hosts, right? I think that's the way to
That's
think
all,
about
right.
it, right? God had a God is the Adonai Tzvaot, the God of hosts, and one of his legions was kasher.
Does he have? Is that a Hebrew word? Or is it just straight from the Latin?
Straight from the Latin. But again, a mashal melech, you get a lot more. You get a lot more loan words in mashal melech because mashal melech is trying to. Let me explain this to you
In human terms.
in contemporary terms, right? So even if
Okay,
there's a lot of even if there's a lot of Greek and Latin in general in Midrash, the minute that you do mashal lamelech, the percentage of that shoots up and shut your eyes, think of a king. You should be thinking of a Caesar, right? Because that's what that is.
They knew it.
Then.
Kasher, I should know kasher.
Yeah, you
It's not
do.
coming to me.
Strong.
Kasher,
Stirring.
that kind of things.
Yeah.
Strong. Okay.
I love the way it's good. It's all about liturgy. We've got a great piece of it.
Swear
We got a great piece of Hallel coming if we get there today.
Okay.
So,
So Amar Hamelech.
Hoyle since
I'm sorry.
Hoyle.
Since.
Mhm.
Since this legion is strong.
It's more than strong. It's oppressive.
I think
Stirring.
SAS,
Yes.
right?
Kasher is hard.
Hard, right? I mean, these are
Yeah,
as opposed to Rach, right? But I think. Did anyone see in the papers today? They've just spotted British SAS troops in Syria.
That was yesterday.
Oh yeah, so whatever. Like these are the guys. These are the guys that you don't know about. Like what do they do? How do they operate? That's the Legion
Don't ask.
Kasher. Yeah, don't ask, right? And this is. I mean, I think this is really interesting, right? So he's got this hardcore legion, and since there's such a hardcore legion, God says, "Al yikateb shemi alav."
Don't put my name to it.
Wow, what's God's name? What
This is the Melech, meanwhile. We're still talking
yeah,
about the Melech.
yeah.
Well, he's saying nothing to do with me, mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right? I mean, I think this is a mind-blowing idea, but it's just going to take a little bit of filleting out. So we've had the mashal, kach nimshal.
Kach, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God says, Hoyil v'hamayim halalu laku lahem, since the Mayim
Hazeh Hasot, right? Halalu.
right.
Since that water, Laku,
Oh, halalu is the hazot.
Hamayim
those.
Halalu, that water.
Okay, that's
Since that water, Laku Bahem,
They were stricken.
smote by that,
Oh, right.
Dor Hamabul, Dor Enosh, and Dor HaPlaga. Since it got, just forget about Dor Enosh and Dor HaPlaga for a second, but Dor HaMabul is the generation of the flood, right? Since the waters wiped out the entire world in the generation of Noah, we'll come back to the other two in a second, Lefikach al yikatev bahen kitov.
So because of those things, don't write on them kitov. Don't write on them. Don't
Call
consider
them. Let them not be called. And do you remember the mashal? Shmi, right? Who is God? Odu ladonai kitov, right? Don't put, so the God's name, as it were, is tov, not Moses. Right now, God's name is good, and because water is destructive, don't put my name in association with the water. That the water will exist at the very best as a kind of morally neutral thing.
Right.
You know, not like fruit, right? The fruits and the seeds and all the, all of that, that's tough. But water, because water is so dangerous. Now, should we do the boring bit first or the interesting bit first?
Is it boring?
Let's do the boring bit first. Okay. So, do I have to explain how Dor HaMabul were wiped out by the water? No. Right? Does everyone know who Dor Enosh is?
Generations of mankind.
Well, it's Enosh, right? So Enosh
is
or translated as Enoch, as this guy who kind of lives
hundreds of years old.
Yeah, and we're not quite sure. It's got something to do with aliens, and there seems to be some lot of destruction that happened in there. Well known midrashically. We'll spend a little bit of time on that. And here's a really good one. And Dor HaPlaga.
The remnant.
But who does that mean?
Separation of the races.
Yeah, Dor HaPlaga is Bavel, right? Dor HaPlaga is the generation of Bavel, so that's definitely. Do I have to explain to you how water came into the story of? Do you all remember the water in the story of the Tower of Babel? Yeah.
No,
No.
not at all.
No.
God just dispersed them. It says he just scattered them around.
Right, you're going to hate. Gerald is about to hate something possibly more than he's hated anything in the time that he's right. So, I'm not entirely sure what Dor Enosh and Dor HaPlaga are doing here. There are three generations who get sort of dispersed, and it kind of trips off the tongue in the same way as the widow and the orphan and the Almanah Yitom Ger Almanah Yitom kind of just sort of trip off the tongue. And I think they've kind of ended up in here by accident because Dor HaMabul, it's perfect, right? So I don't know why they've gone for the other two, but let's just have a look in the commentary that you've got down here to try and see how rabbis have tried to explain how Mayim is intimately connected to the story of Enosh and Bavel. Yeah, I'm here. So in the middle column in the commentary, about 5 or 6 lines down, can you see where it says in the bold V'dor Enosh? Yeah, right. Shehitzitz Hashem Alehem et mei ha'onkinos sheparatz v'shitef chelek gadol mehiyeshiva. So how did God Hitzif? It says that they were scattered. God scattered them by means of the sea, of the oceans, right? He scattered them. So it says to the corners of the world. He sent them across the sea, which scatters and pours a big way from where they were.
What is this referring to, though?
Dor Enosh is I'll give you that. That's yeah. I mean, I was just playing around with this earlier. Where are we? Chat
11, 1 to 9. I think.
Yeah. No, that's the next one.
That's Bavel.
That's Bavel. Yeah.
It says 6:8. Bereishit 6:8.
No,
that's before.
That's before.
Enosh was in Bereishit in the genealogy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, it's the whole list of the generations
but
between.
there's nothing.
Enosh came then after him. No.
Right.
Hang on, where was I doing? Right, I say he comes, and there's something with aliens that come down. There's some sort of destructive thing. It's very, very
with the children of God.
Yeah. Right, there's something which is very, very weird, and it's very difficult to understand it. And we'll get there, and we'll have a look at how they do it with. Why can't I find this? Sorry.
It's at the end of Parshat Bereishit.
And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah, and all the days of Enoch were 365 days, and Enoch walked with God, and God took him. No, it's not there. It's. And then and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born on them, that some of the sons of God took daughters of the men that were fair, and they took them wives of all that they chose. And God says, "My spirit will not strive with man, for he is flesh; yet his day shall be 120 years." And there were giants in those days, and soon after that, the sons of the giants, the sons of God, came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, and became mighty. And God saw the wickedness of man was great. It's like that. There's some disaster that we don't really it's not made explicit what's going on, but that's Dor Enosh. I mean, and it's one of these kinds of things that
what does it have to do with water?
We'll get to. Well, how did he get them away from where they were? He got them away from where they were with the Meonkilos. I mean,
bore children.
By the way, if you don't like this,
if you don't, Enosh come in?
It doesn't.
Enoch. I mean, Dor Enosh is a byword for that generation. It's not. I mean, I don't want to spend so long here because it's. I'm not sure quite what it's doing in the first place. I mean, but if you don't like that, you're really going to hate this.
The death of King, is it Abel, the king, problem. Then after Enosh came Enoch.
Yeah, it's the same word. Enoch is the same.
Enoch is the same. This
It's
is
the same name. It's the Hebrew.
what characterizes him. He's the only person in the genealogy who didn't die.
Right.
Yeah,
God carried him away. It doesn't say that he died. All the other persons in the genealogy says Vayamot.
Let's keep moving. So I'm back in the commentary where it picks up with the Dor HaPlaga, right? Those are the Bonei HaMigdal. They are the people who built the tower. Shneimar Bahem Vayifutz Hashem Otam, right? Do you remember they said, "Let us not be scattered. Let's build a migdal," and the result of that is that God scattered them, right? With this slightly unusual verb Vayifutz. So Ein Vayifutz Elo Vayitzof, right? That those last two words, those last two letters, paid Sadi, really should be switched the other way around. And pay Sadi should really be Sadi pay. God did Haitzif Aleihem Hayam, right? God poured onto them the water. I mean, they're turning themselves inside out in order to justify what it's doing in there in the first place. It clearly shouldn't be there. It's clearly a bit of a problem. But if you delete that and that you just think about Dor HaMabul.
So can I just ask, why didn't they delete it? I mean, if it is actually has no business to be there because you're tying yourself.
We only think it has no business to be there.
No.
All right, but clearly they're struggling with it.
No, but
They're not struggling with it. We are.
No, but if it's an oral tradition, they could have easily have said, "Well, this was my version of it. Doesn't have those words like we see in the Talmud all the time."
Exactly. So why didn't they? Well,
There we
why
go.
are
One
they
second.
going
Let
to
me
some
know.
lengths when there's nothing in the?
What they obviously thought was as good an example as the flood.
But it can't be because the flood is self-evidently about water.
It can't be. They knew something we didn't know. We don't
So
know.
why didn't they tell us what they know?
Because they thought everybody knew it.
All right. It's missing in a couple of manuscripts at least.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
But so the idea. So what's the idea? The idea is that God wants to be disassociated from the black operations assassin squad. I think that is a extraordinary idea. It's an extraordinary idea.
Deniable.
It's deniable.
Can I just
right?
interpose and
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
I've just looked up on the internet, but it says there are two Enochs, and one was Cain's son.
Yeah, this is
So,
later. This is later.
Right, okay, sorry.
This is later.
So I think Enosh is the root of Anashim.
Yeah, it's not that. It's
But
Dor.
why is it a different Enosh?
Well, it's Dor Enosh. It's Dor Enosh
Dor
is this.
Enosh.
It is that general. It's a kind of rabbinic shorthand to refer to
Okay.
that to that problem with the angels. So let me just to come to this idea because I think it's an extraordinary idea that God, who is the creator of everything, is disassociating himself from his own creation. for me, in the context of how I put together my own theology, which is to say that I'm very interested in areas of canonized statements about God, right, rabbinic statements about God, which portray God not as entirely perfect and pure in every single way, but having, you know, I'll put the protection in this keilu, you know, as it were, you know, weakness or, you know, being unable to control or badness, or I just think it's an utterly extraordinary midrash. It's the sort of thing that you could never say without being accused of being blasphemous, but yet here it is in midrash. That God has created something which is so violent and horrible that God just pulls back from calling that thing tov. You're like, hang on a second, but surely if you're good and if you're all powerful, you know, and just the sort of the world view that allows something like that to be said, I just think is utterly remarkable. And I have to say, I've never come across that before. I don't know where it is elsewhere.
Was that the view of the rabbis?
Well, you know, it's I don't think you just can't. I mean, I think that part of the point is you can't use that kind of phrase. It is the view of Rabbi Simon in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Now, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi is a significant figure Talmudically, and I mean, I think, you know, you can sometimes see there are rabbis who go around finding everything very, very straightforward. No, God's entirely in control, God's entirely in charge, and God is entirely good. And then there are kind of characters who just have a much more broken theology. I mean, I know that, you know, Gerald, you read my piece in Theology in Our Time. You know, I think that there are places to go within Judaism where these kinds of ideas inhabit, and I think they are utterly awesome. And the only way you find them, because they're not in the books. You know, I had not come across this until this morning. You know, the story of, you know, the Tano Shalachnai and all this kind of stuff I've heard 100 times. But the only way that you get to something like this is that you commit yourself to start reading the book, and you go through it page by page by page by page by page, and then you pick up everything. And I think, you know, for me anyway, the justification of doing, you know, this kind of Kaseda learning is that you bump into stuff like that. I mean, and look at it. It's just in and it's out and it's off. And if you weren't, as it were, kind of primed to find this extraordinary, you would just go, well, it's a bit of a dodgy midrash, isn't it? You know, what's that doing with Enosh and thingy in the background? But they're taking the opportunity to say something about the nature of creation. I think is spectacularly important, and also I think something about the nature of political, constitutional stuff. I mean, I was talking about that in the sermon. I think in the sermon a couple of weeks ago. So I think it's utterly fascinating. Thank you, Jason. Somebody else want to have a go? Eventually, number 7.
Vayikra Elohim l'rakia shamayim.
Pause. Right, so that's our. So we've now moved on. We're on to the next
God
text.
Call this Kami word firmament. Kami's got to think about firmament, right?
Oh, goodness.
He called it firmament.
Heaven.
Yeah. Well, let's not translate it, because we're going to spend. We're going to.
The rakia.
Yeah, this untranslatable word rakia.
Yes.
He called that Shemayim. So now we need to work out what the Shemayim means.
Okay, Rav Amar, so Rav says, Eish v'mayim, fire and water.
Very good. Okay, so Rav Amar Shmayim, right? Shom, Shemayim, Shemayim. So you've got a shin and a mem, right? So what we're having here is, I think this is called folk etymologies, right? The Shemayim is a contraction of the Hebrew word for Eish and the Hebrew word for Mayim, because the Aleph you don't pronounce, and the thingy of the
Well, the Mayim is excusable. You can see where that's coming from.
And the fire is excusable as well.
Is it?
Yes.
Because you don't pronounce the Aleph.
Well,
not as a nation. No. Well,
but Mayim is my.
Yeah, you can see that it's sh and Mayim. Oh, you know what? Then you might like the rest of this midrash as well. Okay, yeah.
Rabbi Abba bar Kahana Amar. So Mishum Rav.
Bashem.
Sorry,
Right.
Mishum I have.
Yes, I know. You're reading it correctly. I'm just telling you how to understand it. Bashem.
Okay, yes. Right, whenever it is Shem. Rav Natal.
No.
So Rav.
Rabbi
Yes,
Abba
Rav
Bar
Natal.
Kahana Amar Mishum Rav.
Right.
In the name of
Natal
Rav.
Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He. Natal is mixing or hitting, pounding.
No, not pounding. Natal is natila, as in took.
Is
Took up.
okay, yeah. Eish umayim, took up the fire and the water.
This next word is beating.
Uftachan zeh vazeh. Ah, yes, and hit them one on the other. Umehem na'asu shamayim, and from them made shamayim. What are we calling shamayim? Heaven or sky?
Let's leave it as Shemaim.
Shamayim, I'm happy with that. Devar acher.
Right, new game established. Right, photic etymologies of Shemaim. Everybody go. Right, so off we go. Yeah.
Which this word petachan with a
Yeah.
chaf, what does that mean?
Beat to beat.
Beating together.
Do you want to? It's in there. It's in the BDB. If you want to have a look in the BDB.
Yeah.
Yep.
Devar acher. Shamayim. Kativ shehem shamayim.
Shamim.
Shel Briot. Okay, so it's written that it was Shamayim.
The god Shamim,
Shamim, excuse me.
or Shumd.
Maasehen, who named.
No, Maaseh.
No, Shamim is not their name?
No.
Okay. Maasehen is the works.
Good.
Their works.
Shell.
Shel Briot of creation.
Good.
Have you missed
So
before?
yeah.
Okay.
So the word. So the root here is the root of Shuma, of Shin Vav Mem or Shin Mem Aleph, which means to appraise, right, or to estimate the value or the worth of something. Yeah. Like, it's not a very well-known verb at all. So Shemayim comes from in this sivuv, in this go round, to appraise. That the Shemayim appraises the works of creation.
Why does he translate this as deeds of men?
Sorry?
He uses Shemaim is written for they weigh up Shemaim.
Yeah.
The deeds of men, he says.
Maaseh
Shel Briot.
Shel Briot. Well, why men?
Yes.
It
okay.
could be creatures or could be
Because I think we're the only people who get rewarded and punished. I don't think God rewards and punishes the.
ants.
Okay.
Yes.
Rabbi Jerry, can I add this too? In the simplest English, we say, back home we say, the firmament declare your glory, O Lord.
Yeah, well,
The
that's.
firmament
That,
declare
but
your
you
glory,
get
O
it. You
Lord.
get it.
Yeah.
You get it from here. You get it from Psalms, right? Right. Let's keep going.
V'higidu shamayim.
No. Im zachu.
Sorry. Im zachu. V'higidu shamayim tzidko.
If they're worthy of it.
If you're
they're
worthy,
then
Higidu
you-
Shemayim,
then
that
you
the
get to-
Shemayim,
gets to tell
Sidko.
their good righteousness.
right? If you're good, then the heavens tells you that you're good.
V'im
Im law,
lo
or love. Right?
im la yigalu shamayim avono. Oh, then it gets to tell your sin.
Reveal
Reveal.
your transgression.
Glorious reveal.
Yagidu.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Reveal it, yes, unroll, yes, to roll out. To
Gilui.
disclose, yes. It's good.
I think that's quite nice. Right, that heaven, that God isn't doing the individual judging of all our deeds, like the Shemaim. It's done at a lower level, right? So God remains above the Rakia, above the heavens, and then the heavens kind of tell you. And I think it's very good because, of course, what's the classic marker of your reward for being good in the Bible?
Like good days.
No. Rain.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
Rain.
you're not wrong, but that's the thing. Right?
This water again.
Back to,
Right.
back to the watery thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to floods.
As opposed to floods, right? As opposed to floods,
Enough.
right? So that if you're good, to say that the Shemayim is registering your goodness means that the rain is going to come, as it says in the Shema, and the right times, and the early times, and the late times, and it's all going to be fine, right?
No, Jeremy, is it the same as showers of blessings? Showers of blessings.
Not sure. Don't know that idiom.
All the more reason why
As I said,
water should be good.
Showers,
Maybe
water.
showers-
Yeah.
Showers
be
of-
showered with
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we've moved on, right? That was last Midrash. I mean, I mean, one of the really interesting things is, what is the unit? This is one of the things that people kind of spend a lot of time talking about. Sometimes the unit is an entire story. Sometimes the unit is half of a word. Sometimes, I mean, the classic one is that extraordinary story when Moses goes into Rabbi Akiva's Bet Midrash, and Rabbi Akiva is darshaning the little tugging, the little crowns on top of the letters. Interestingly, Bert Vysotsky says this, and I trust Bert Vysotsky. We don't have any Midrash darshaning the little tugging on top of the words. Like, they're just, we've if there ever were, we don't have them. But past, it's done. We've done the Sabbath. Why isn't the third day Tov gone? May it pop back up. I mean, one of the things that Aviva Zornberg is very, very good at doing is that she'll pick up a midrash and then show how actually it really explains all kinds of stuff that follows and filters through in all kinds of other places. She says that if you know that Abraham was in the furnace and had this experience in the furnace and the fire, and he lost his brother and his this, that, and the other, like that is the insight which allows you to understand the entire Abrahamic story. Now, the only problem with that, of course, is that the story of the furnace isn't in the Abrahamic story. The story of the furnace is much later. So what's early, what's late, who knows? But I mean, here we've done that. So now water is free to be used for other.
The key is don't try and learn a concept from anything we've heard so far, because it might not apply in 2 sentences later.
Right.
But what are they getting at here? The first explanation was explaining where we get Shemayim from. You beat together.
And the second too. The second one as well. Because Shemayim is Shuma. Shemayim is the measuring thing.
Oh, okay.
It is the valuer.
Evaluation.
The God, and so what did God? God made the Rakia, and He called the Rakia the valuer of your actions.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 examples of how we can tell
Good
that.
and
Yeah,
bad.
either one good, one bad.
I just want to tell you that the motif on the hall / Minyan Chadash, Parochet and whatever,
It's fine.
is Shamayim, because it is Eish and Mayim.
Cool.
The Eish is like that, and the Mayim is like that. So it's kind of blues and greens and purples up here, and it's reds and...
That's really nice.
Nice.
Good. Excellent. Pictorial. Brilliant.
Okay, you want a bit more
Yeah,
now?
do another one.
Okay.
Yes, please.
דבר אחר, שמיים שהבריות משתוממים עליהם לאמור. So the
Keep
שמיים,
getting to 3 more words.
לאמור של מהם.
Good.
Okay, so the שמיים, the creatures were speculating or wondering.
Good.
amongst
So this is
themselves,
another.
to each other or amongst themselves, perhaps saying, is that right? To
Yeah.
themselves?
So hang on. So again, we've now got this another strange word that I have to say I don't really know. Mishtomamim. Yeah, I'm not suggesting it's a kind of an onomatopoeic kind of a word.
But the
Shmamamum.
but the root is shin mem
Mem, mem. Yeah, different from the previous one.
Yes.
So to be shmamam, mum, 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 like as in babvel, babibble, bulbibble, bulbul.
Yeah.
Right. So you see, they're kind of sort of wondering. Yeah. So the shouldn't. So that why is it called heavens? Because the creatures, heaven stuff, and they're saying shalmahen. Like what is this? And I'm not quite sure whether or not they're suggesting that shalma is shmayim. I'm not sure they're doing that, but you've got a shin and a mem. Although if you thought that it was problematic with the aleph at the beginning before you had Shemaim. Here you got a lamed in the middle, and I'm not sure you can drop
But
the
of
lamed in
course,
the middle.
the Shemayim was called Shemayim before any Briot were around.
Yeah, but God knew. God is Magid
He knew
Bereishit.
that they would say, "What is this?"
What's this? What's happening? You know.
He
Anyways,
knew what
he's
was
asking.
coming.
I mean, it's a shame Louis not here, right? He's asking, the children. Why did he call it Shemaim? Because people are going to go, I wonder what's up there, right? You know, the little Maurice de Saint-Exupéry. What's it called? Petit Prince, right?
Little Prince.
Yeah.
Little Prince,
Yeah. Like what's up there,
Yeah.
right?
What is it? Fire or water? They got the right words though, haven't they?
Good.
So what is so?
Yeah. So he wonders, Shelmayim, what is it? Okay, so we're still in there. We're still in there. Lay more, right, Angela? Sorry.
We're still in more. Shel Mahim, what is it? Eishen.
Shel Eishen?
Shel Eishen. Is it of fire? Shel Maimhim, is it of water?
Huh?
Admaha Rabbi.
Why couldn't they put in
Pinchas.
some question marks?
Sorry?
They did.
Well, at Maha,
You have to say it the
Is
right
it
way.
right? Is it fire? Is it water?
or
Huh?
use the word eich.
Admaha Rabbi Pinchas, B'Shem Rabbi Levi, Amar, Hu Ata V'Kam Alav.
So he came and he set up this verse, right? This is to do with people who went between Babylon and Palestine, right? So up he comes and he goes, "Oh, you're talking about that one? Where I come from, whenever we talk about this midrash, we cite this verse." So he's associating a verse with the midrashic tradition, bringing the midrashic tradition of Babylon to Palestine. What's the verse?
We did this at the beginning.
Yeah. Right, because this is a verse which is it's connected into this story, right? That somehow this verse is part of this story, and actually we will see quite a lot of that. That certain verses are midrashically always associated with certain ideas.
This is the layers. We had
That's
this
just
earlier.
why, I mean, Psalm 104 is a story of creation, right? Bless God, O my soul, who covered thyself with light as with a garment, who stretched out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chariots in the water, who made the clouds his water, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Right? It's hamakareh b'mayim aliotav. Yeah, we spent a long time trying to work that one out. It's quite tricky to yeah.
This shows it's water.
Right, have shamayim. Right, so they're sitting there shmammering whether or not it's fire or water, but it turns out have shamayim hem. That it is ultimately.
It is of water, yes.
So another devar acher, not introduced.
Sorry.
Have shamayim. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So end of midrash. Now another folk midrash for Shemayim. So devar acher doesn't say devar acher, but nor does it say Rabbi so and so ben so and so. But
Samim.
Shemayim is Shemayim.
Samim is spices and herbs and chemicals and stuff.
Not to be here to be translated as interesting that you use the word chemicals. Good, but it's spices. And I want you here to, as I go back in my mind to when I was in India, and you walk past these spice shops, and there are these piles of extraordinary colour.
The translation is Samayim, laden with water.
Samim is...
Not this
No,
one.
some chemicals. No, you.
No.
You're too far down.
You're too far down.
You're too far down.
I beg your pardon, you're quite right. I jumped one. Beg your
I mean, of course,
Some-
we're moderns, so
Some-
we think of chemicals as things where you ring up the chemical supplier and you like, I would like, 21 Watsits of copper sulfate, please, and it turns up and the copper sulfate is indeed blue, right? Am I right? Phew. In the ancient world, there's no difference between pigments and spices and chemicals. It's all the same thing, right? It's but yeah. So here we go.
But excuse me, are they saying that Samim is related to Shamayim?
Yeah.
But how can you? It's a totally.
I get it. Yes, I am not disagreeing
Only
with you.
in your ear is it slightly.
The dot.
I mean, it's not
the
even
dot
a
on the
shin.
seam.
It's not even a shin sin.
It's not even shin,
It's a
it's a-
I
shin
know, but
summer.
they're like
Can you-
stream of consciousness even skipping over that step. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
They do that all the time. Right?
The question that is driving this is, however, brilliant. So let's do it, and then we can be cross with them. But I know why they've done it, and I think it's delicious and actually quite unusual.
What was the tribe that used to have?
What
on
are they
ships
trying to
about
show? The
their
spices?
Let's Yeah, let's say those of you who are following in the English, you're cheating. But okay, so samim, Angela, yeah.
Okay, samim. Masamim halalumehen.
Samim halalu.
Yeah.
Just
Sorry,
these samim.
Mehem yurukim. Some are greenish. Umehen adunim, and some are red-ish, technically. Mehem shehurim. Umehem levanim, and some are bluish, and some are whitish.
Black.
Kach shamayim pa'amim.
Lefamim. Pam pam. Pamzeh, pamzeh.
Pa'amim, yes.
Once.
So the heaven is sometimes
Green.
like that, a greenish, etc.
I think it's beautiful. You know,
What-
they
what's
look
that?
up at the heaven.
Is that word? The chu?
V'chule. Yeah.
Et
That means
cetera.
etc.
Oh.
And
It's done, yeah.
and v'kol elu. V'chol, etc. I think this is beautiful. You know why do they say that Shemayim is the same as Samim? Because what colour is the heavens? Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's black, sometimes it's white. I think that's actually quite a beautiful idea. Here it's not that it's a textual provocation that's driving the Midrash. It's a bit like that sort of Persephone in Hades. Like, the nature of the world is such, and therefore it's being driven by they're walking around in the ancient world, seeing the world and trying to kind of frame it and explain it.
See, but they could have said the same thing about flowers, but because samim looks like shamayim, they've chosen samim to make the midrash,
Yes.
working backwards from where they want to be.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
But I think also,
It's even more
I think
likely
also,
to come across the spices, the vibrant colours of spices more than the flowers.
They would have seen
They would have
where
seen
did they think that the spices
Really?
come from.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah, they
vegetable
would have seen
matter.
it.
good. Thank you, Angela. Lester, do you want to?
It's like-
So we're still on folk
So Rabbi
etymologies of
Yitzchak Amar.
Okay, Shemayim, Rabbi Yitzchak Omar, Shemayim sa mayim. So he's taking a different construction, Rabbi Yitzchak, and he says, carry water.
Good, right? So that's the disappearing nun of Nassan, right? I did this on the Bima at one point. Nun
What's the weak
nun
consonant?
sin aleph
Is it a
is the
Nassan,
most
yeah?
extraordinary verb. It means all kinds of stuff, but noseh avon avot is probably the most important liturgical unit. God carries off our sins or shoulders the burden of our sins. So
Okay, so it comes
samayim
from samayim
means,
to on mayim.
which literally means carried the water,
Carry the
right?
water.
So the Shemayim is the water carrier. It is the bearer of the water, which again makes perfect sense because we have this, right? That you poke holes in the Shemayim, in the Rakia, and down through the holes comes the rain.
Mashal lechalav shehaya natun bika'ara. Now we don't have a king, but we have some milk which was given in a
Was said, right? Oh, it's a milk that's been placed in, has been placed.
in a vessel.
Yeah, no problem.
Ad shelo tered letocho tipa achat and
Shell.
shel masu
Masu is rennet.
is what
Rennet.
rennet. Oh. So it's in this vessel. So they don't want any rennet
No,
to go
but
in.
ad shalor
Until
yarad,
before,
right?
before.
Until there comes down into it a tipa echad shel masu, a small drop of rennet, right? Before a small drop of rennet enters into this kadera of mayim, the water.
Who mirafef it rofed? No, rapef.
It it's liquid. It's
I see.
no. It's a liquid form, right? I mean, it's
Until it's fluid.
It's fluid.
Until the
Fluid.
rennet comes into it.
Right.
כיוון שירד לתוכו טיפה אחת של משהו, מיד הוא כופה ועומד כך. So it makes cheese. Immediately.
Right.
They must
No,
have had a
not
very
cheese, it's not
powerful...
Cheese, it's a sort of junket, basically.
Well-
it's yogurt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it kind of curdles.
Well,
I mean,
it
it
depends
solidifies. I
on-
mean, what they mean here
Depends on what
solidifies.
kind of a rennet it is, yeah.
I mean, here they do mean that it solidifies,
Right.
right? And this is, and we had this verse before as well, right? Kach, and this is the meaning of the
Kach
verse.
is
in
the
Psalms.
verse from
Job,
Eov,
rather.
Amudei Shamayim Yurofafu.
And this
So
is
Pillars of heaven.
the heavens...
the pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his reproof. But here, his reproof, right? So when God tells off the waters, it kind of solidifies. I think
Well, I
what's
thought you said Resh Pei was fluid. Umara faith.
hang on, sorry. Amudei Shema. Yeah, so the heavens are
Or
they
shaking. Or
they're liquid, but when God tells them off, bam,
Amdu Shamayim Nitam Behem Et Hamas.
they firm up. I think here this is again being driven by when they look out the window or when they look up, right? You know that sometimes the Rakia just feels very fluidy, right? Little puffs of clouds are zipping, and sometimes, boom, you know, it's the weather. The weather's set for the day, right? That's the idiom. You know that when God tells the weather to stop, so that it is it's a milk. So how do you think? So what is Shemayim? Shemayim is a milk container. You know, sometimes it's just
Flows
flutter,
nicely.
and sometimes boom, it feels very solid up above.
How is this related to Samayim?
Shamayim,
No, but why carrying of water? I
the
guess
carrying of
like a
yeah.
vessel.
Right,
Like a vessel.
because the clouds are, I mean, the clouds are white, right? Which is, of course, maybe where they get that milk idea from, but also milk curdles water. I know it doesn't curdle. But, you know, just as milk curdles when you put in rennet, so too the water curdles, i.e. the clouds set when God gets involved.
So Amdu Shemayim Nitan Bahen Hamasu Vayi Erev Vayi Voka Yom Sheni Atya Ket Amar Rav Lachim Hayu Rishon Vasheni Karoshu. So in the second day first day they were smooth, but in the second day they solidified.
Right, and we had this before that God created the waters with a certain kind of like wobbly quality and then fixed it up later. Any thoughts? Any questions?
Why wouldn't he make it with a wobbly quality on the first day and then fix it up later?
Sorry, that's what he did do.
But why?
Well, I think there's that kind of inchoate nature of creation that, and I mean Isaac Newton, I guess, was on top of that as well. That things are more flexible, and as they grow older, hey, we get a bit stiffer.
But we're talking about God who creates bavum
Right.
on the second day, so that, you know, things are ready made. They don't have to.
Well, I mean, part of the
mature
problem
in
is
That was only one day's creation, isn't it? I mean, you have to allow
I'm working.
So I mean, by the way, the first day and the second day are the second day and the third day of creation, right? You know that, right? So I mean, the problem is that this is what it says in the.
Sorry.
Where are we? Right. So God said on the second day, "Let there be firmament in the midst of the water, and let it divide the waters from the waters." God made the firmament, divided the waters which were under from the waters which were over, and God called the heavens the firmament Shemayim. Evening and morning, second day, comes back. And then the beginning of the third day is, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place.
Right.
Womp. Right? So actually it's
Yeah.
just a pshat. I mean, that's what the biblical verses say.
That was the third day.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct. So Vayihi Boka Yom Sheni, the waters are still, what's the word we're using? Lachim. Right? They're still lachim. quivering, but on the third day, B'Sheni, now understood as being the third day of creation, right? On the second day of the story of the waters, which is the third day of creation, Crusher, he brought them to one point. Okay, without cheating, what do we expect to see at the beginning of the next chapter? What kind of a midrash?
The earth, something about the earth.
A petichta, yeah, a verse from afar, which is going to be connected to a lectionary verse, right? So as we turn over page into a new chapter, and indeed we have such a thing.
They're linking this with Rav.
Yeah, because we had that before. Where is that? Where is it? Where is it? We had this before. Commercial Rav. Yeah, where is it? We had this at the beginning of the chapter. A lot of these ideas are now coming back for. We've had it before in the name of Rav. Okay. And that's going to happen, right? You know, later midrashim will be built off earlier midrashim. Maybe it was even chapter 3.
We are in Bereishit. Lift the waters under the heaven together in place, and lift the dry land appear.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. Okay. Yeah, and what's it followed by? Psalm 104. Yeah, so I've got handouts for next one. Oh, it's a shame we didn't get to the handkerchiefs. Next week there's no class, but I'm back the week after. Just to keep you on the edge of your toes.
Is there any possibility? No, I don't know if there is a way to do this. A recording instead of.
Yeah. I've been putting them up on YouTube actually.
Oh, you have.
Yeah. They're on your. How you grab them
from Twitter?
They're on your Twitter feed as well.
Yeah. Well, I know within Periscope it's
in
only
Twitter feed,
24 hours.
No, but I saw all of them on the Twitter feed this morning.
Okay.
That's live then.
Yeah.
It disappears in a flash of light.